What is our project today? Well, it happens to do with a light switch. Kaboom. Here we've got 3 light switches here, and this one is not working. I'm over at my auntie's house, and she says, "Hey Joe, can you come over here and take a look at my light switch? It's not working." So I looked at it, sure enough, it's not working, and we figured out which lights it was controlling. It's controlling a light lamp over there and over there. The first thing I had to do was figure out if it was a separate light switch, and that was the only thing it went to, because I needed to come over here because I wanted to make sure it wasn't a 3-way switch. You know, like if you turn this switch on, let's say, and then you can turn it off somewhere else down the hallway, maybe add another light switch over here or something like that. So I had to come over here and figure that out, and sure enough, I figured out that was a single pole. So I went to the store. Before I went to the store, I also looked on here and see how this is called a paddle light switch, okay? And it had a little ridge around it. See that little trim piece that goes around there? I wanted to make sure I got something exactly the same, and this is white, and it's not the ivory color, so there was many things. I didn't want to just go over to the store after I talked to my auntie. I wanted to come over here and check it out. I went down to the store, kaboom. I found the exact same one, white. See that little edge piece that goes around there? This was like $2. It was single pole. When you go to the store, you look around and see that it says single pole switch with ground. Okay, and that's what I got. This was like $2. So for $2, you can fix it yourself. Hey, do you need to be an electrician for this? No. Any average Joe can do this. You stick around and I'll show you how. Yes, did you hear that? My auntie said you just have to make sure the power's off. Okay, we do not want to open this little area here without turning the power off. Now, how do you do that? You go to your electrical panel and you figure out which circuit it is. And so what I did, I've got the light breaker off right now. What I did is I turned one of these light switches on to make sure that I saw that the light was on, and I just looked up here, and these were the eyeball canister lights. My auntie was here, so I got on my cell phone and I says, "Tell me when the lights are off." So I had these on, because usually in a box like this, usually there's only going to be one circuit in here. Now sometimes there's 2 circuits depending what you have in here. If you have a ceiling fan and then some light switches, let's say, maybe you've got 2 different circuits in there, so you always got to figure that out. This was a standard switch, so chances are there's only going to be 1 circuit in there. Okay, so I had the lights on, and so then what did I do? I went outside. Yeah, you probably want to know this, so I figure I might as well show it to you. You know, some average Joes don't know about a panel, an electrical panel. Okay, you go out, you try to find it. Incidentally, some places have a sub panel inside a garage or something like that. This one's outside, and you never want to work on this side over here. See, this has an actual little lock on it. This is for your electrical company. You never want to break that off. You could get in big trouble for that. And some of these come off different ways. This one happens to slide, and then the hinge bit here, right in here, slides down, and then see, it's got a lip up here, so this had to drop down. Other ones, the whole thing here folds up. This one happens to flip out here, and you look on here, you think, my word, what's going on here? How on earth am I going to figure out which one of these it is? Well, generally for your lights, you want your breaker's going to be a 15 amp breaker generally, and you look on here, see, this one says 15, these say 20. Now see, this one is in the same area slot container as this, but there's 2 of them. You're like, what's the deal with that? This is a twin breaker. This is a circuit, and that's a circuit. Here, they just happen to have a 15 amp circuit, and they took up this whole thing. They could have put a thin one in there and stacked it. Well, they didn't. They did that. They had stackable ones on the 20s that they put in, or they could have knocked out more knockouts. See, they have 2 more knockouts, but they didn't, and so they put in some twins. That was kind of good. And usually they're on a 15 amp. Okay, so I found this 15 amp and I turned that one on first, because you look over here, generally you're going to have a board here that kind of tells what the breaker's doing. And see, that says a number 8, and that right there says 8 right on the little panel there, and that's your 15 amp, and that says lights and plugs. So I tried that one first and it wasn't that one, so I went down and looked at the next 15. You see, the next 15 was there. See there? And that said lights and plugs and smoke alarms. Well, that wasn't it either, so I went down to the next one, and that said lights and plugs. This one says lights and plugs. These other ones say lights and plugs. I didn't know which one it was, so I turned the next one off, and sure enough, it was that one. So I left that one off. Okay, that's kind of how you figure out how to do it. If you got something else like in your kitchen, like your garbage disposal, or maybe your dishwasher or something like that. Generally, those are under 20, so you look at those and figure stuff out like that. Okay, so that's kind of what I did. Okay, I'm just going to leave that closed. I don't want to leave that open. I don't want any kids messing around. I mean, I could put a piece of electrical tape or masking tape over that breaker to make sure nobody turns it back on or anything like that. Okay, let's go back in here and take this switch apart. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.